Welcome everyone to the Side Drive Podcast, and yes, we are a day late on our All-Star Race review, but here we are reviewing the whole entire weekend. It was our first All-Star race we attended in person, so it was a great. It's a great event.
Yeah, it was a great experience for us. I don't know why we hadn't ever been to the All-Star before. I don't know if it's Carl was always just saving money up for the 600 or what it was, but I believe it was a great race. I enjoyed it, and it was a great first All-Star race.
Yeah, so before the big main event happened, we had three smaller races that consisted of people who had to race their way in, which is called the Open. In the first stage, Daniel Hemrick got the pole, and he pretty much dominated the entire stage up until round 4 to go, I would say. We had a caution for BJ McLeod.
Yeah, he really had a strong car. He got out to a almost 2-second lead from Kyle Larson, and he's going to cruise his way into a stage win. And man, he was super fast.
And then on the restart, I don't know if he didn't get going or didn't know when he was supposed to go, but the inside lane just got the jump on him there.
Yeah, I don't know if how he helped pushing or what happened to the car, but he did go back in the field a little bit. And then it was a pretty intense battle for the green-white checker for that stage.
Yeah, that was the most hyped up I've seen a crowd during any sort of race besides the Roval finish. But consistently through that race, everyone was on the edge of their seat, especially those last two laps. And we had a battle between William Byron and Bubba Wallace to finish out the stage. Looked like William Byron's going to lose it, but somehow gets a run and wins stage 1.
Yeah, I believe he hit the back end of Bubba a little bit and might probably cause him to slow down just a little bit. He got a good run off of 4. So, man, it was unfortunate for Bubba at that time, but I know the whole crowd, you can really feel the intensity. They really want to see Bubba win that stage.
And then in stage 2, William Byron would go in the garage and just relax until the All-Star would happen.
Yeah, he fixed his car a little bit because he had a lot of damage when he hit Bubba.
Yeah, just about every car that won the stages was dented in, really.
Yeah.
Because Kyle Larson got some damage, Bubba Wallace got damage, and also William Byron. So everyone had some sort of damage.
Yeah.
So stage 2 would happen. Alex Bowman and Daniel Suarez would get out to a sizable lead. Daniel Hemrick would be on his way to try to get back to them.
Yeah, because he didn't pit on that first stage, so he was on lower tires. But in that stage, he pitted, got some fresh tires, and man, his coming through the field, he was making some good moves until he got up to maybe 4th. He got behind Ron Priest. He couldn't really get around him. Ron Priest was very good about making the air disturb Hemrick's car where he couldn't run good. I knew Hemrick, he was probably the fastest car on the track at that time.
Yeah, and then unfortunately we'd have a caution for Daniel Hemrick because he would attempt to pass Ryan Priest. He had enough of it. Try to do a dive bomb, and it's really difficult to do a dive bomb in these cars, especially when you don't have throttle response at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he had a position, I believe. He hit a bump or something back there. He got his car loose right off of 4. Got into Ryan Priest a little bit, and I don't know what. Just Ryan Priest had a brain fart and just tried to wreck Hemrick.
Yeah.
And ruin his chances at $1 million. I mean, you big dummy. I mean, you're just racing and then you go and just dump the guy. I mean, come on, dude.
I mean, I don't think Ryan Priest had too much damage up until the point he just ran into the back of Hemrick. Really uncalled for. I mean,
I don't need $1 million. I just want to wreck this guy. I mean,
I can understand why you'd be mad. A guy just chopped you off, but these guys got to really stop using their cars as weapons sometimes.
Yeah.
But
I know Daniel. He was getting a little frustrated a little bit, and because he had a faster car than Priest, just trying to get around him and pass him. He had a good run. He thought he's clear, but got into Ron Priest a little bit. Just a racing deal. I mean, it was hard racing. I mean, this the Open, it was some lot of hard racing.
Yeah.
Trying to get into this All Star event. It's pretty awesome. But it's going to take me a while to get that respect back from Ryan Priest.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if Hemrick just had a tire go down, but it did look pretty intentional.
Yeah, because I mean, Ryan Priest could just went to the high side and went around him, but instead he just dumped him.
Yeah, and it's hard racing, that's what we came and bought a ticket for, but unfortunately, those types of deals happen.
Yeah.
But one guy's misfortune is another one's reward, because that allowed Bubba Wallace to do the same thing he did in stage one, to stay out there and battle for it. Somehow he took the lead. He just had this amazing car on the restarts.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah, he was really working the side draft real well. I mean, he was right on Kyle Larson's side. He got into him a little bit, got a good run off, and got the lead. But William Byron has some fresh tires. Not William Byron, that's the other stage. But
he came back out there and he's trying to win again.
oh yeah, so yeah, it was Daniel Suarez then and tried to get him. He said, "I ain't gonna make this mistake again." And
yeah, he gave Daniel Suarez no room. About the same thing that happened the previous stage, but
so I guess he learned something on that first stage.
yeah, so he wasn't going to take nothing from anyone, and ends up winning the stage. Yes, it might have been a dirty / aggressive move, but it's the Open. It doesn't matter. It's awesome to see what these guys would do just to get into the main event.
Yeah, what would you do for $1 million?
Everyone says, you gotta wreck your mom for a win.
I wrecked the whole field just trying to get $1 million.
Yeah.
But
We've been playing the lottery. We've been trying. I guess we need to start wrecking people. I don't know.
Well, we just get tickets, but
Yeah.
but yeah, the crowd was so excited to see Bubba win that stage. I mean, it's so. I know Bubba's been down lately, and it just really picked up his spirits, and I think the whole crowd just really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was a great moment to see, especially after going on Twitter and seeing how he reacted, being emotional over it, giving the hug to Ryan Blaney, and it's a long time coming. He's been really down about how the cars have been running, but finally I think he had a great car, and just like Eric Almirola said driving the car, he never really had a way to showcase his talent, because he never knew what his talent was. That night, or yesterday night, we got to see Bubba Wallace's talent.
Yeah, because they got some RCR engines, and the Chevrolet's been struggling a while, but I believe they're coming on strong now. And Daniel Hemrick has a strong car, and Bubba, he's showing some strength there, and it's real good for Bubba. Give him some uplifting right at that moment. I know his car is very hard to drive at this point, and just to get finish that stage right there and get into the All-Star big event, and so it's just pretty amazing.
And then the final stage of the Open just had an intense battle between Ty Dillon and Kyle Larson, but Kyle Larson was just too strong for them.
Yeah.
And Larson would go on to race his way in, and
I believe he has some fresher tires than
used some of that strategy. It was only 10 laps, so it wasn't much of a choice or a chance it would have too many cautions. But overall, it was a great Open, and Chevy really dominated the whole thing.
Yeah, Chevy's coming on here at Chartmo Speedway. I mean, their programs are come along real good. I believe it's a very intense Open.
Yeah, great opener for sure. But after that, the All-Star vote would go to Alex Bowman, who was, he was up there. He just was never safe, really. When he got the lead, he got, took out of the lead because the pit stops and all that, and he just never got back up there.
So all the Hendricks cars gets to be in the All-Star. So.
Yeah, so I believe Chase Elliott tweeted something about that, so he got his wish. And then the main event would happen, which Clint Boyer would get the pole. He had a blazing lap. Stuart Haas cars were just super fast at the All-Star race, specifically the millennial car. Pink is fast.
Yeah. I don't know why anybody hadn't mentioned the Millennial Falcon, the Star Wars theme right there. Because when that green flag hit, I mean, that's what Harvick's car looked like.
Warp speed.
He had warp speed. He took off and took the lead in a hurry.
Yeah, he went from third to first in that first corner, and Kyle Busch would be right there stalking him, and it was a great battle between those two. I believe they are. I mean, Kyle Busch, I believe he's still struggling a little bit in terms of speed. He was leading there for a few laps, but
yeah, he was hanging right with Harvick. I don't know if he just stayed in the draft, but he did make the pass.
Really, I found out how to beat Kyle Busch is get him in the pack, and then he'll never show his head again for some reason. Maybe it's just the way he sets the car up or something. Of course, he came back using strategy, but at one point, he was really struggling with that car.
Yeah, I ain't sure what happened at one time, but
so Kyle Busch would end up winning stage 1 because he would end up passing Kevin Harvick. I believe it was the only pass for the lead that we saw. It wasn't on a restart or anything. It was after they got all strung out. And the big three was back. They finished 1, 2, 3 in stage 1.
Yeah, Truex, he's right there, and he's catching the leaders. And I know him and Harvick was battling once Busch took the lead. So
yeah, and it wasn't that Kyle Busch got the lead and took off. You still had Harvick and Truex right there. It's just, I think, with this package, the wake of the leader isn't as strong because maybe it's because of the nostrils or something like that. It just didn't look like they could do anything once they caught the guy. But when it was on restarts now, that was insane. That was pretty cool. The Kyle Busch would just win that stage. So stage 2 would occur, and I believe that's the one Harvick just took off and nothing really else happened.
He pretty much dominated it. The only thing that was slowing Harvick down last night was his pit crew.
Yeah, and I was listening to his radio, and he was very upset with them. I would be too. I mean, when you have the best car there and you don't win races because issues from random trash coming in your car or on the aero ducts, or and then the next week it's your pit crew. So we'll see what the 600 holds for that team.
Yeah,
maybe they'll finally get it all together.
Yeah, because it's pretty tough. You come in, you're leading, you're the leader, and you come out like 5th, 6th, and then it's so hard to race your way back in because it's so hard to pass.
And then to start stage 3, we had Joey Logano, very fast on pit stops. I believe that's that team's strong suit. That's how they won the championship last year. Really, they're just able to execute on pit road where others can't.
Blaney and Chase, they was looking good too at that point.
Yeah, that's pretty strong up there. The Chevrolets were good. William Byron's up there in the top 5 for a little bit. So Logano would take the lead eventually in that. I'm not sure if it was on the pit road or if he got on the restart, but he would pretty much lead the rest of the way. And then Kevin Harvick would have a loose wheel after that pit stop, and he was very upset with the pit crew yet again. But luckily he got a caution and he did not lose a lap.
Yeah. And
so, he's going to have to battle through the field, but he rebounded pretty well in that final stage.
Yes. At one point, even I ain't sure what happened to Kyle Busch. He was, he was leading at that one point, and then the restart, he just went to the back. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know if he just lost the draft or if his car just was not handling at that point. Maybe he had some older tires. We was at the racetrack, so we don't know the exact thing that happened. If you do know, let us know down in the comments. Or was that some sort of strategy by the 18 team?
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, what's wrong with Kyle Busch? He's just, he's out there by himself. He's about a half a lap down. And then at the final stage, he's don't pit. He's up there, and he takes off and leads the race. So.
Yeah, and we had that crazy wreck with Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney. They went 4 wide there for a little bit with Jimmy Johnson, Martin Truex, Denny Hamlin, I believe another car up there.
Yeah.
They would all collide together, and eventually that would ruin Truex's day. Unfortunate for that team, but ultimately it would just take Denny Hamlin out of the contention because he would blow a tire. Ryan Blaney was on the bottom lane. Denny Hamlin jumps down. Blaney says, "Move out my way."
We use this chrome horn and blow you out of the way. So, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because Denny come down and just almost stopped in front of Blaney because Blaney really had nowhere to go. I believe Bubba or somebody's right above him, so he had nowhere to go. So,
I mean, Blaney might have had room to go in the middle, but I mean, you don't want to.
and when somebody jumps in front of you, like it's like on interstate, somebody jumps in front of you, and what do you do?
Yeah, it'd be crazy if the cars had some horns on
Yeah.
them. Hey, I'm down here, you know.
Get out of the way!
I guess that's for spotters, though. So, a lot of crazy, intense battling throughout the field, besides maybe the leaders after a few laps. But overall, great race, as we'd see in the final stage.
Yep.
It was a great battle. We saw Kevin Harvick push Kyle Larson to the lead in the final stage.
Yeah.
Harvick went from like
he turned that warp speed on,
Yeah.
and I believe Kyle Larson was probably like, "Whoa!"
This is what warp speed feels like. We need some cars like this. But
Yeah, they shot through the field from eighth or something like that, and it was pretty cool.
then towards the closing laps, we had a few cautions. I believe one of them was Eric Jones just getting sideways.
He just didn't have a very good night. He was either hitting the wall or hitting something, or I don't know. He just always had a lot of damage.
Yeah. At some point, if you look up, you'll see Eric Jones
Yeah.
hit something for whatever reason. But yeah, a tough night for that team. They've needed a good strong run. Of course, the All-Star doesn't really matter, but momentum wise, it makes you feel good if you do good, especially if you win that $1 million.
Yes, maybe like a little test session for the 600.
Yeah, I mean, not exactly because it's a different package, but yeah, it can show you just a little bit of how some of these cars will run.
Yeah, you can learn a little bit, as far as the grooves and how the track's going to change.
Yeah, because I'm not too sure about everything in terms of the science of this package compared to the current one we have. But, if we can see the same sort of racing next weekend, it's going to be an intense 600 miles.
Yeah, if 600 is the same as the All-Star, I bet it's going to be pretty awesome.
And then, so the final restart, Kyle Larson, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch would be battling for the lead. You couldn't really pass anyone.
No.
Which is really unfortunate because we had great racing all the way until the final few laps. But it was still really great to see that battle between the 42, the 4, and the 18. 18 got in the wall there for a little bit.
Yeah, 18 get in the wall and everybody cheers. It's like so funny. But yeah, it kind of just hurt his car. And then it just the battle between Larson and Harvick. And I didn't know. It looked like Harvick could catch him a little bit. It's just a matter of where passing.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we saw in the first stage where Kyle Busch was right there with Kevin Harvick. Just took forever to get around him.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're faster or not. You just, you have to wait for them to either hit a bump or if you somehow, catch a great momentum or somehow lap cars. I believe that's the reason why we didn't see, too many runs from the second place car was because there's only about 17 cars out there and not many lap cars to be there, especially when you don't have all the, back markers who are, just trying to survive the rest of the race.
Yeah.
But other than, just the dirty air up front, I'd say that's probably the best race we've seen this season.
Yes, probably so.
The only argument I would say would be Kansas. These cars just really run super good nighttime mile and halves.
Yeah.
I was not too sure how they're going to run when we go back to the daytime, but It's going to be a pretty intense 600 miles. Congratulations to Kyle Larson on that win. It is kind of bad though, because it's not an official win.
It's not an official win, but he did get some good luck on his side. So I guess the good luck he did have with that Jeff Gordon took him and got the hex removed. I guess it's helped him out some.
So yeah, we said we need $1 million. Maybe we need to go over there. Jeff Gordon, if you're watching, please take us over there. Pay our way. We need we need that $1 million.
Yeah. But yeah, even Larson said he wouldn't have got that win. It went for Harvick.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was the best move of the race, I think, because it was just so intense watching. You know, they went like 3 wide, 4 wide. It was just awesome to watch. I don't think I ever could really sit down the entire race. I mean, like stage 1 all the way to stage 4, I believe it was. It was just.
There's just so much going on.
Yeah, it's just. You know, even if the leaders wasn't necessarily side by side, you had 4 wide deep in the pack. It was just really awesome. I applaud NASCAR for everything this weekend. It was just a great race, great event. Glad that one was my first All-Star race.
Yeah, because it was pretty intense and we enjoyed it. And it wasn't quite over after the race, was it?
No, we had some WWE right after the race.
Yeah, I look over to turn 4 because we're sitting right there at turn 4. I looked over there between turns 3 and 4, and I see a car go around. It's Clint Boyer. I said, "What the heck's Ryan Newman doing? Just turn him around." I mean, you're on the cool down lap, and somebody just turns you around. So that's pretty scary because you don't know if the other drivers unhooking their seat belts or whatever. But man, it's just I don't think Clint really appreciated that.
No, because when you don't appreciate things, you're gonna get out and start throwing punches. I mean, you ain't gonna do that to say thank you or anything. But yeah, a lot of people were saying they was disappointed in Clint why not taking off the helmet. But I mean, when you're mad at someone,
I ain't got time to take this thing off. I'm going to it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want him getting away. You want to go fight him, but
I ain't got time to fight this helmet. I'm fighting.
Yeah.
Man, it just that was.
He got like 10 punches in, I believe I saw.
Something like that. Man, he was really swinging, boy. But the crowd went crazy. I think the intensity of the race and excitement. I mean, it was just a great night.
I mean, this was a non-points race. This is where it doesn't matter if you don't win. You know, it's a.
And the real big argument was I ain't sure how they was racing on the track. I believe Clint thought that Newman was a lap down car, and he was just in the way.
I ain't a lap down. Yeah.
I know he usually is a lap down, but I know he went a lap down at one point. So that's funny.
Yeah, it's just.
I like Clint.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I believe it was the first fight we've witnessed in person. So. Hearing all the fans go, "Get him, Clint! Get him!"
that was fun.
Yeah. Would watch that again. Come on, 600, and give us something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see if that drama will go over to the 600. I mean, I wouldn't expect it to. You'd think 10 punches would be enough, but you never know.
And they're both going to be at the Bass Pro Shop in Concord just coming Thursday before the 600, signing autographs, and I don't know. We'll see how that is.
So grab your popcorn and head on down. All right, so that was our review of the All-Star race. Pretty intense. I was ready for him to stack them back up and go again.
I know it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and looking forward to other races to come. Maybe go to another All-Star next year.
Yeah, so definitely my favorite race I've been to in person.
Mm-hmm.
But we do want to give a shout out to Robin and Bonnie for finding Dale Jr. in the thumbnail for our Truck Series race. So thank you for playing along for Find Dale.
Yeah.
Alright, so we hope you enjoyed this video. We will be back later this week for our picks for the 600. Also, if we have enough time, you'll see Louisiana hot sauce taste test video. So just stay tuned for that, and we'll see you for our race reviews next weekend.